There is a political ad for Kathy Barnette, a candidate for U.S. Senate from Pennsylvania. And if elected, she would be the first black Republican woman to join that specific chamber. Kathy Barnette, we're pleased to have her. She's joining us live. There she is. She's also the author of this book here, Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, Being Black and Conservative in America. Kathy, good to see you. My goodness, that campaign ad getting a lot of attention. I want to ask you about that, about your choice. Why get in this race? And what is your message here? Because you know you're going to be met with a lot of criticism, and you still choose to press forward.
Yes, you know what? Oh my goodness, like where do I begin? It has been such a whirlwind since we announced yesterday. I have gotten so many endorsements. The video is already at a little bit over 500,000 views, and the support has been amazing. I'm very grateful that people understand what it is or appreciating what it is that we are offering our nation. We're in a battlefield right now, and it's not a battlefield of bullets or fists. It's a battlefield of ideas. And the chief idea or the chief question that is being asked right now is, who are we? Who are we as a nation? Are we a communist nation? Are we a socialist nation? There are many who are occupying political spaces right now who are displaying some very communist-like behaviors. Are we a communist country, or are we still a constitutional republic? Are we still a land of laws, or can we just make it up as we go? Are we a racist nation filled with hate at the very core of who we are? I believe something different. My life journey growing up on a pig farm, I grew up in a home with no installation, no running water, an outhouse in the back and a well on the side. Like I said in the campaign ad, I grew up in a very impoverished situation, and yet I was able to claw my way from up under that rock. And chiefly, it was because no one looked at me and told me I was a victim. I don't recall anyone in my family looking at me and telling me all the odds are against me. And so I put my head down, figured out what I needed to do, the simple rules in the road of carving out a respectable life for myself. And that is a message that the Democrat Party is just dousing water on time and time again.
And just to be clear, you're running for U.S. Senate, right? Not Pennsylvania Senate.
Yes, I'm running for U.S. Senate. I believe I am Pennsylvanians' best chance at getting anyone in office who will ever listen to them.
All right, let's change that graphic. That's not correct. All right, this is what I want to play for you here. This is Joe Biden, by the way, someone you called out in your ad. I want to play this and get your response.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
The white man that sits at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue believes he has the power to take away my blackness because I'm a conservative. But I will keep on.
Why did you feel it was important to call out the president on this? Because that was a major criticism on the campaign trail when Biden made that statement.
Well, let's look at who it is we're looking at right there. Joe Biden is the last living segregationist in politics who has billed himself as the white hope to the black man. And yet we recognize when we look at his policies, when we look at him going to the funeral of David Dukes and a whole lot of other unscrupulous friendships that he has throughout the years, the various crime bills he has been a chief architect of. We see some major problems with this man. He's been in office longer than I've been alive, and yet all of a sudden he's going to start saving black folks from all of our woes. I don't think so. But let's also look at what it is we were just watching there. I'm sure people could see, him grinning like an imbecile. And that just speaks to the fact that he is tone deaf, not just what tone deaf and racist, to what black people are experiencing, understanding that we are not all undifferentiated black souls with no nuance at all about ourselves. But look at how tone deaf he is with the humanitarian crisis we're experiencing right now at the southern border. Look at how tone deaf he is. I just read an article a few moments ago of how they have already offered sanctions to Iran with their first indirect conversation with the country. This man is the shell of an individual who has been allowed to sit in the highest office in the land. And it is a disgrace, but it's not just him. Again, we have some very radical elements within our country who are displaying some very communist-like characteristics.
Kathy, let me jump in really quick. Let me jump in really quickly because I'm limited with time, and I think it's very important to get your thought on the Major League Baseball All-Star Game being pulled out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's moved to Denver, Colorado. This is officially done, and they cited the reasons because of the essentially the election reform that's happening in Georgia. But this is what I want folks to understand. Atlanta, and this is according to the census, is 50% black. They have moved it from a city that's 50% black to 9% black in Colorado. 30% of the business in Atlanta is black-owned businesses. How do you make sense of that when you're going to cost Cobb County potentially to lose $100 million that would have went to black communities?
Predominantly black communities. But listen, this is wokeism at its finest. And the problem with wokeism is that you can never go to sleep. You can never take a nap when you're woke. You have to forever be woke. And Sharon Osbourne just found out the reality of that. There is never a time when you're living under wokedom that you are allowed to think for yourself. And that's what we just experienced right here. To your point, moving it from a predominantly black community to a overwhelmingly white community or non-black community and calling it something positive for the black community is truly is illogic. And let me just say in closing that I've been black all my life. Believe it or not, I've been black all my life. I know a whole lot of black people, and I don't know one black person who does not have an ID. I know black people across all socioeconomic, across all education spectrum, different zip codes everywhere. I still have family who are living on that pig farm, and I don't know one black person who does not have an ID. It's a very racist and ignorant premise that has been pushed down the throat of Americans. There is nothing more sacred than understanding that my one vote counts, that my one vote is not being canceled by 3 and 4 other votes or what other shenanigans that might take place. There is nothing more sacred than than the American people having the belief that our elections are free and fair from all shenanigans.
So you support showing voter ID?
Of course I do. I mean, like, can I get on Delta Airline and not have an ID? Nope. Is Delta now going to excuse us from showing ID? I know that they were one of the very vocal companies as well against what Georgia did. No, because it's illogic. If you want anything in life, I want to know who you are and if you're allowed to be able to do the things you do. Listen, I have the blood of slaves coursing through my veins from both sides of my family. And I understand my history. My people who look like me fought for this nation as well. I am not walking around with a hat in my hand waiting for someone to admit me into the American dream. I am the American dream, but that American dream is hanging on the precipice right now. We are in trouble. We are in a battlefield, and that is the backdrop of my video. It is at Gettysburg at one of the pivotal moments of that fight, and we're in a battle right now of ideas. Who are we?
That is U.S. Senate candidate from Pennsylvania, Kathy Barnette, joining us live. We hope you join us again. Keep us updated on your journey.
Thank you so much.